Hey, welcome back. As you know, my name's TheLordFussington, and this is Shrine of Storms 4-1, the second part, which is after the first. And in the first part I was killed by the Vanguard twice. This is the third and final attempt. I do manage to defeat him. So kill the manta ray. Boom! Stomach shot. And then go attack the Vanguard. So what you want to do with the Vanguard, right, is you want to get behind him. Actually, you want to get behind most things. Tip for life. And just with the Vanguard, you want to just keep slashing from behind, and he'll eventually do these ground pounds. Sort of like Mario from Mario 64 and other Mario games. So he'll do this nearly ceaselessly, and if he doesn't, that's why I said nearly. If he does the slashes instead, always stay near his body. Okay, because it's very difficult to get out of his range when he's doing the slashes. So I suggest always kind of staying close and going in counterclockwise. You always want to move away from the weapon, obviously. So obvious that I rarely follow my own advice. He isn't a difficult mini-boss, and that's why it took me 3 times. If he was difficult, it would have probably taken me 28. Because I'm shit. There you go. Vanguard is dead. And you get a Grey Demon Soul in the tutorial, which many of you didn't watch, and that's fine. It's fine. In the tutorial there was a comment that said that the Grey Demon Soul can be used to make the Dover's Axe. So thank you very much for posting that. I'll thank you in the description box thing, whatever. But yeah, it can be made into a Dover's Axe, and I had totally forgotten. It's been quite some time since I've played. Actually, that was even in the tutorial. I should have known that. Well, anyway, that's me. Very low level of research. I've got all of the weapons as well. Yeah, which is really believable. Really believable, since I forgot that the. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, it just doesn't. You may be wondering why I'm going through this area. Well, I have no idea. I just checked out the Graverobber. You may also be wondering why my character is shirtless. I'm wondering the same. Well, the reason he's shirtless actually is because I like to roll with the bitches in the back. I like to roll, and you can't. You're slowed down if you're wearing armor, basically, as everyone knows. I also find armor less important in Demon Souls than in Dark Souls, for instance. In Dark Souls, it's pretty mandatory to find at least some armor, even if your character is based mostly on rolling. You're still going to need some sort of armor, just for the resistances, for instance. I don't find that the case too much with Demon Souls. I feel like you can just bypass the whole armor idea. And even upgrading, I didn't upgrade much either until I collected all the weapons and started PvPing. So anyway, that's Half Moon Grass, the best grass in the game. You see that little bridge there? Well, from where I'm standing now, on the right side of that bridge is an item on the bottom, and you want to jump to that item, mine the trap behind you, and then you'll be able to go kill a skeleton archer first, and then a skeleton rolling thing, whatever, second. And then you can go deal with the dual katana skeleton, whatever. I decided, see here, there you go, that's the item, and there's the trap, the bolts come out of the wall. I did this instead, which is really brilliant gameplay. Oh. Yep. The reason you don't do that is because you take unnecessary damage, but that's just the way that is the way I like to roll. A lot of rolling going on right now, isn't there? Alright, to do a katana. We've seen him before. I had a halberd before. It's much easier with the crescent falchion. He mainly does this. The slashes can hit you, and you know, the thrust is not as bad as the slashes really, because the slashes can hit you even when you're behind him. But yeah, you want to get behind and just sort of stay a little bit out of his range and then get backstabs in. He does a leap, which he does here, idiot. And that you want to be quite careful with. To just sort of move to the right as he's leaping, but make sure your shield is still up. And really just get the backstabs in. Also, I was talking about Dark Souls. In Dark Souls, you want to, and armor and all that. Yeah, in Dark Souls, it is, like, even upgrading weapons is, I feel like it's a necessity. I had a lot of trouble, I'd never really upgraded weapons too much in Demon Souls, but in that fucking Dark Souls game, you know, having a lightning katana or whatever is just brilliant. Yeah, it is fairly important to do so in Dark Souls. Anyway, it's a good bit of advice. So if you're playing Dark Souls, armor and upgrade your weapons. If you're playing Demon Souls, I mean, you should be wearing armor and upgrading weapons, but it's not as important. Anyway, I don't know why I'm going on about this, but you know, take it or leave it. Flame me in the comments if you'd like. It's fine. In this area you want to get rid of the manta rays, the ones that fly in the air. And that's why, because if you don't, you just get impaled by their spears. And you want to pull the golden skeletons away from the edge of the cliff. If you want to fight them on the cliff, by all means, you know, there's no problem in doing that. You know, it's like the Vanguard. Easy way to beat the Vanguard. Arrows and arrows are magic. Arrows are fast. Magic is even faster. Actually, most bosses in this game can be beaten with arrows or magic fairly easily. Wait until we get to the Flame Lurker. Oh, glorious. I'm really looking forward to that. Flame Lurker, Man-Eater. Right, so I think that's most of the manta rays. Alright, the way to fight the golden skeleton. Now he has a really good defensive move, which is basically holding his blade up. And you'd think it wasn't really a good defensive move because it only blocks part of him. But it is, and you won't do a lot of damage, magic, arrows, or melee. You just won't. So you want to get close to him, and then he'll either do a series of slashes in which you either roll out of the way, don't block with him, it's not really worth it, roll out of the way, and either use your magic or sort of time your slash, and that's one way. The easier way, however, is when he's doing, you want to get him to do the winding, see, not that one, but he does this, he puts his sword behind his back and then he slams it down. Sort of like what the blue skeleton does as well. Then when he does that, you roll away and then, see who was getting started? You roll away and then you attack. Or you can do what I just did, and while he's winding up, you attack. So it's either this way or the other way, and you'll kill him fast. You can also get behind him when he's doing that as well, and then, you know, do backstab or whatever. With magic it's far easier, of course. Anyway, third fog gate, I think. Okay, in part 1 of Shrine of Storms 4-1, the part before this part, in that video, that previous video, the one there was an item behind the a brick wall. Like I picked up the Talisman of God, I had trouble getting past the tree, and I mentioned an item behind a brick wall. Okay, well, what you do to get that item is you go up here. You see that little, you push on the joystick and you go up. I didn't do it for whatever reason. Not quite sure why, but you know. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm not sure why I did or didn't do. For instance, I wasn't sure why I went to seek the Graverobber Blage and then didn't buy any arrows, didn't do anything. Right after I killed the Vanguard. Why was I doing that? Pfft, don't know. So you wanna get on this you wanna get on this thing there, piece of wood, and grab the Graverobber's ring, and which is great for phantoms. What kind of phantoms, you may ask? I won't answer. And this is the last black skeleton that you'll have to deal with in 4-1. And you saw how I dealt with the leap, right? You kind of just move a little bit to the right or the left as he's leaping towards you. Shield up, shield raised, shield up. It means the same thing. And there you see it again. And yeah, then you get a backstab in. So thanks for watching. The next video will be the Adjudicator. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.